Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up.
Good Monday morning.
Run it up.
Welcome to Run It Back, right here on FanDuel TV. I don't know. We got Stadium Insider Charania to my right, Chandler P over here on the left, Lou Will joining us from his castle in Atlanta. Look at him. Wow, you've got fancy lighting on today, Lou. What's going on?
It's just natural lighting. I knew a jab was coming. I knew a jab was coming.
You're angelic.
I was patiently waiting for the jab.
Well, no, the jab's not coming. The jab's coming at the expense of Chandler Parsons, who convinced us all that his team, Florida, had it in them to go very, very far in this tournament and lost in the first round.
That was a great video essay you did.
Hey, you like that narration
yeah,
there?
Was great.
That was a tough.
Great.
First of all, it was an offensive foul. We scored 100 points and lost a game. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, you lost the game.
Yeah, it was
my
bad.
bracket, I had you in the Final Four.
Also, my bracket is incomplete. Everyone in America's is, but it's
Mine's
really
red.
in shambles.
Half my bracket's done, but I still have two on the left.
Every 1 and 2 seed advances, like since
Boring.
when?
Boring. Lou, do you have a bracket and is it alive?
It's destroyed. But going into it, I knew it was going to be that type of party. It was no clear favorites. It was only a couple of teams that are really good and head over heels above everybody else. I knew what time it was, so mine is done.
Sucks too, because this past weekend is the most fun part of the whole thing, and now it becomes like the good guys.
You know what happens? Like the first round, like the Cinderella, the bad teams, like surprise everybody, and then this odds makers they count that into the next round, and then
Right.
they just get down to earth and then just get their ass kicked to like the good teams in the second round. But we still bet on the bad teams, like they're going to continue to be good because sometimes they are.
Because we're dreamers and we want to have an upset.
Stupid. It's impossible. Don't bet on it.
All right, so then let's bet on NBA instead. We could do that. Warriors, T-Wolves, we'll start there. The Timberwolves have 21 threes, beating Golden State. Anthony Edwards, 23 points, 8 assists, 3 of 4 free throws in the final 12 seconds. Nasri with 20 and 12. Steph had 31, but it's their 13th loss when leading by at least 12 points. That, to me, is not great. He played 30 minutes, Steph did. Sat the first 5 minutes of the fourth, and afterwards, Steve Kerr said that the Warriors cannot expect to ride Steph game after game. Weird to say that here in March, but did he make a mistake in this game?
I think he did. I think he realized that too. He sat him too long. He watched the Timberwolves go on this run, and this isn't the time to be, not riding Steph Curry. Maybe early on, manage his minutes, especially when he's banged up. But no, you're in a win now situation. You're literally a game ahead of the Houston Rockets to not even making the play-in. So we've been talking all year long, like play-in. Are they going to get to that 6 seed? Who's it going to be, either them or the Lakers? So no, I would think the exact opposite. This is when you ride Steph Curry. This is when you push him, assuming he's healthy. And this is when they really got to start making their run. This isn't when you can have your best player on the bench while the Timberwolves go on an absolute heater. So he's healthy, he's playing. He looked really good last night. So no, I completely agree with Steve Kerr here, and this is exactly when you ride Steph Curry.
Yeah, Lou, it's interesting because it's really the same narration that we had at the first 2 weeks of the season when it was just Steph and seemingly no one else was doing anything. Why is he doing this now?
Yeah, I think he should have went against his traditional subs. Steph sitting 5 minutes in the fourth quarter isn't something out of the ordinary. If you watch games, you'll realize guys play in the same time slots every game. That's usually a time slot that Steph Curry is out of the game, and that's when, Klay Thompson has an opportunity to be the lead guy on offense and allow Steph to get a breather before he go back in the game. But if Timberwolves are going on a run, you got to throw that plan out the window and get the guy back out on the floor. I think he was supposed to go out on that floor. When they're going on the run, you put him back out there at a 9 or 10 minute mark. That puts his minutes at 33, 32 minutes or whatever. That doesn't make a difference in the totality of what's going on in the season. I thought he should have adjusted there. Instead, you got to understand this is a championship coach. He's trusting his coaching. He's trusting his players to survive that run and to weather that storm. And it didn't go their way. It ended up being a close game that went the other way on them.
Draymond Green said that the Warriors do not have great habits, and there are only 13 games left. They say you can build a habit in 10 days or so, Chill. Is there time here?
No, I mean, at this point of the season, they are who they are, right?
Yeah.
They've had a big sample size to get better, to grow, to be their, what team they are now. So this is who they are. And I think early on, I think they thought that talent would just automatically win them games. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, they thought that alone, even in this age, even with the injuries they've went through, they thought that was enough. And they see as the season goes on, the Western Conference is so loaded, it's so deep. and they're a step behind, and they're not defending like they used to. They're not shooting as efficient as they are. You see Klay Thompson, Steph, they're having these crazy inefficient nights, and that's just. It hasn't played out because I think they thought that they're the Warriors, right? They're the championship DNA. They're just going to go and beat teams, and they're getting everybody's best shot, and it just hasn't worked out.
The habits thing is odd. Again, we're almost done with March, Lou. Why don't we have better habits by now?
I'm not sure. You know, the only thing that I think what's going on with the Golden State Warriors is they're so used to being a high caliber team that they feel like they have an on switch. They feel like they can change this narrative at any given time of this season. You know, you're almost 70 games in. This is who you are. This is the team that you are. I think we got to get out of some of the arrogance that they've earned over the years by being a championship caliber team, and humble yourselves and reload this thing, and let's get right going into, you know, what's looking like a play-in. You know, him saying that he's not very much worried about the Rockets. You know, that comes from being spoiled to the point of everything that you've earned over the course of your careers. You know, this is getting real. I still feel like they're gonna be okay, and they're gonna be in that play-in spot. They're gonna do enough to stay there, but you know, they're gonna have to start paying attention to what's going on around the league and tighten up.
It's a crazy game. I mean, it's not like they got blown out by any means, but your biggest takeaway of this one?
I think by Steve Kerr keeping Steph Curry on the bench, I think that was a shot to the rest of the team. It was like, guys need to step up, and that's been the microcosm of the Warriors season all year, is having the lack of that consistent second or third option that you can rely on every single night to support Steph Curry. We've seen Jonathan Kuminga emerge as that on a lot of occasions over the last couple of months, but last night, 16 points for Klay, 15 for Wiggins, 14 for Jonathan Kuminga, just lacking that second, third guy to support Steph Curry, who has another 30-point night. And this is a team that's been better on the road than at home this season, and here you have a 5-game road trip, could basically make or break their season right now, just based on the standings, based on the fact that the Rockets suddenly are now just 1 game out of that play-in spot. We've been talking, can the Warriors get in the playoffs? Can they secure their spot in the play-in? Now they're looking at it where they are the team that could be out of the play-in tournament seeding. And this 5-game road trip is going to be massive for them. Miami tomorrow, Orlando on Wednesday.
Dear. Oh dear. Is how I'd like to say that. Here's the thing. It was not that long ago that the Houston Rockets were like 3 games behind, and we thought, no chance.
More than that. I mean, 4 or 5 games out, really, we were like, what? They're done. Close. Their season's over.
Well, all right. So Draymond does not seem to be impressed by any of it, because said he doesn't care about the Rockets, doesn't give a damn, actually. They're now just a game up on them. And they're hot. So what are we looking at over here as far as the Rockets taking over that spot from the Warriors? This is nuts.
Yeah, well, he should care because they are right on their tail, and they are 1 game behind. And their schedule has been a little bit light looking at who they played. They played the Blazers a couple times, the Spurs, the Wizards a couple times, the Bulls. So they've had a pretty favorable schedule, and it gets a lot harder for the Rockets, which I guess that's a good thing for the Warriors. But listen, this isn't a thing. They can't take anything like that. That's why I disagree with the Steve Kerr thing. Like, they are such in a win now just to get the chance to maybe make the playoffs. Yeah. So I'm all hands on deck right now. I'm playing my best players. I'm playing them as many minutes as I can, and I'm trying to win as many games as possible, because the minute Sengun went down from the Rockets, it's almost like these guys are playing with this freedom, and they have no expectations, and Jalen Green is absolutely balling.
Inspired.
Yeah, so those guys are really coming together and take advantage of the opportunity that they have, knowing that no one cares what they're doing. Everyone's counting them out anyway. So you see the guy and you see a team play this free, they're dangerous, and they're going to continue to play that the last 13 games or so.
That's a great point, Lou. Like, the fact that you have one team whose expectations are you are the Warriors, you have been a dynasty, and the other team that's like
complete opposite.
Not even supposed to be here. How valuable is that to Houston?
It changes everything, because there's no pressure on the Houston Rockets to be in the position that we're in. But look what we do. Every show we're talking about the Golden State Warriors and what we expect of them because of the level of excellence that they've built around their organization and what they've been able to create. The Houston Rockets doesn't have that expectation. So they're going out there, they're a young team, they're playing free. Earlier in the season, we mentioned about the veteran presence of the guys being around there, changing culture and trying to help them. We're going to talk about Jalen Green, but look at how Fred Van Fleet, he's killing me. Fred Van Fleet.
Fleet.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Fleet.
Look how he's been playing. He's been playing at a high clip and being able to help Jalen Green lead them to some wins. And so they're playing free. They're playing happy, been able to win some games. I don't even know if they want to be in the play-in. You know what I'm saying? If you're going all season long and you're like, I don't think this is going to be a thing. And now you get to an opportunity where you're like, this is one game out. This is possible for us. That motivates you as well.
Who's sitting with their feet up are the Lakers. They were in a dogfight with the Warriors, and now they have a 2.5 game lead on, and they're looking at now catching the teams ahead of them. So it's crazy how competitive this Western Conference is down the stretch.
Isn't life a ride?
Sure is.
It sure is. But okay, we're sticking with the Rockets for a second because it's 8 straight. Now, obviously, they're one of the hottest teams. They defeated the Jazz 147-119. 41 points from Jalen Green, 10 threes from Fred VanVleet, which now ties him with 1 Chandler Parsons and 1 James Harden for most in a game by a Rockets player.
Wow.
Shams, Jalen Green has been madly impressive. I mean, we all know the other stuff that goes on in Jalen Green's life, but what are the plans
What's
for him?
that? What is that? What was
He's
that? What does that
inspired.
mean?
He's about to become a father. Okay.
Possibly 2 is what I'm hearing.
Ooh, double
Right.
the pleasure. Okay. Rockets plans for Jalen Green is what?
Yeah, I mean, just look at this 6-game run that he's had. They've won 8 in a row, but this 6-game run, 31 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists a game, 52% from the field, 48% from 3. And you compare and contrast that to how he has been playing with Alperen Sengun in the lineup. 18 points a night, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 41% from the field, 31% from 3 in 63 games. He's thrived without Sengun in the lineup, and a lot of that is because they're able to play his style of game without Sengun in the lineup. They're 5th in the league in pace. They were in the second half of the league in pace per game. Their offensive rating has been 2nd in the entire NBA. They were in the bottom half when Sengun was healthy and Jalen Green was playing really based around Sengun's game. So now you have Jabari Smith Jr. playing more at center. Amen Thompson has been playing a lot of the point forward position. He's been playing at the 4. And just taking us back 2 months ago, the Rockets called the Nets on Mikal Bridges, and I'm told they discussed the concept around Jalen Green and multiple first-round picks. That deal was not accepted by the Brooklyn Nets. That didn't progress anywhere. And now you're looking at it, it's a great problem for the Rockets to have. You have 2 burgeoning stars, I think, with Sengun, with Jalen Green, and they're both extension eligible this summer. They're both going to be in line for massive deals, potentially, in extensions. But Jalen Green needs this space. Like this pace that they're playing with now, he needs it without Sengun in the lineup. So what do you do if you're the Rockets moving forward? Can these 2 guys coexist? Can they play with each other? How do their styles balance each other? They haven't figured it out yet.
What's tough is when you're the Rockets and you see how good Jalen Green is without Sengun, that's where it's tough. When are you really going to dump all your money, all your cash into these 2 guys? Because you look around the league, the duos, they're not going to be even close to the top 10, top 15 duos in the NBA. So are you going to win with these 2 guys? Now, they're great. It's a great young core to have, but they're going to have to add some other things. I love Fred. Jabari Smith's been on the rise. Dylan Brooks has been great for them. And this is a team, the Rockets, they started off hot. We didn't really drink the juice on them, but they've had it there all season long. They've showed flashes, but they have a lot of young talent. But you got to give Jalen Green credit. I think he's a kind of a high volume scorer. He takes a lot of bad shots, which I think is why his percentage is lower. And still on the season, he's shooting 33 or something from 3. I'd love to see him get that up. But in this last 8-game stretch, 30 a game, 53 from the field, 46 from 3. He continues to do that and build off that. And then they get Sengun back healthy next year. At least they have something to look forward to and a bright future with these 2 guys.
Yeah, but Lou, how hard is it I guess you have the ability to start thinking about it now when Sengun comes back next season to try to figure out a way to get the best out of both these guys together.
Yeah, Jalen Green's just going to have to learn how to play with somebody that's of equal talent and put that together. You got to give a lot of credit to Coach Ime Udoka. He planted these seeds early. He wanted them to be recognized as a tough team. Even though they were young, he didn't want them to be pushovers, and now it's starting to pay dividends for them, from the little brush up that they had with the Chicago Bulls. These guys, they're not backing down from anybody, and it's showing in the way that they're competing. And so for Jalen Green to have these type of games, to have this type of stretch, he's going to have to make that translate when Sengun is back in his lineup. And I think that'll do huge dividends for them if they can get on the same page for this young basketball team.
And Lou's right. Like, Jalen Green's the one that's going to have to adapt, because when I look at this roster, I look at this team, Sengun is their best player. Sengun is their guy they should build around. He's their Jokic type, Sabonis type big that can do everything, can facilitate, can play through him in the post, can play through him in the elbow. So he's their guy. Jalen Green is a scorer. He's going to be able to find ways to score off him, to play well with him, and I think he can do it. He's shown flashes of brilliance all season long. He can shoot the ball, he's athletic. So there's no reason why these two can't coexist.
My thing with them is when Sengun's in the lineup, they're 14th, 15th in the league in pace. Like, they play because Sengun is a little bit slower. Now Jalen Green is in a position where he feels like if they play up-tempo, which they are now, they're top 5 in the league in pace since Sengun's been out. He feels like if we play faster, we play more toward my style. And that's kind of what Ime Udoka's been able to do the last 8 games or so, is they're putting Jalen Green in a position where he can go and run the floor, and they're surrounding him with versatile defenders. How do you strike that balance, though, between playing through Sengun's speed versus playing at a speed that does placate more toward Jalen?
Well, I think Sengun, too. I think he's talented enough to play that way. Like Jokic, he can play fast. These guys can play fast. They can take the defensive rebound. They can bring it up the floor as if they're the point guard initiating the offense. So I think there's got to be a balance when, look, in the playoffs, the postseason, God bless you, when they're in the half-court offense, you can play through him. But I do think there's got to be a balance where I think Sengun also is sitting here watching the Rockets like, damn, like, are they a better team
that
without
would
me?
hurt
Is
my
this a better,
feelings.
is this the system we should be playing all year long? So there's definitely got to be a balance, but it's a good problem to have, right? Because both of them have shown that they can be elite all-star level talents. Sengun should have been maybe an all-star this year, so it's tough.
Maybe next time. Jabari Smith got a little suspension for his fight, Shams. What's the latest?
Yeah, these were interesting suspensions because Jabari Smith Jr.'s punch, or he attempted to throw a punch, it didn't even really connect, but he got suspended 1 game for his altercation with Chris Dunn over the weekend, and Chris Dunn got a 2-game suspension for initiating the altercation, the fight, whatever you want to call it, and he threw a punch, connected on a punch, so he got 2 games.
So the lesson is don't connect. Throw it, but don't connect. Right?
Yeah. That'll save you some time and money.
It's some time and money. We're going to take a quick break on this one. When we come back, Mike Bibby joins the show on Run It Back.
Oh, don't do that. Don't show off the swollenness.
Yeah,
I'm taking my shirt off, too.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
Ain't no fatigue, no, we never sleep, yo, we in the gym. Yo, Mike Bibby, a big-time player. Man.
That was then 14-year vet of the NBA, champion at Arizona. This is now. And if I started this interview any other way, Mike, I'd probably be fired. Dude, we knew the tank top was going to be the tank top. How is this happening? How are you so jacked?
I'll be here. I mean, I got here probably like at 5:30 today. I'll be here till probably 10.
What?
So I work out hard. Man, I got nothing else to do. I'm a full-time dad now, so all my stuff happens later in the afternoon. So I got pickup, drop-offs from school, volleyball. So I'm doing all that stuff later in the afternoon. So I have nothing to do all morning.
But FanDuel does not drug testing me, so let me know if there's any suppies that I'm missing out on, because I don't look like you.
He doesn't. We can vouch. We can vouch for him. I mean,
Good to see you. Thanks for having me on, guys.
That's an insane amount of working out. All right, so Arizona, Sweet 16, gonna face Clemson next. I do have Arizona going fairly far in mind. How far do you think your team can go?
I think they'll get past these 2 rounds. I mean, but it depends on what kind of game that you have. You can't go by how they looked in the past. Every game is a new game. Especially, you never know how these guys are going to shoot. You never know how the other team is going to shoot. But being in the position, it's a lot more pressure on one game, knowing that you have one game to go out there and play the best that you can. It puts pressure on some teams, on some players, so you never know how that game is going to go until you get out there and play it.
I mean, you won the national championship your, freshman year at Arizona? And to get there, you had to go through Paul Pierce in Kansas, VC over at North Carolina. Like, what do you remember most about that run?
I remember we almost lost the first 2 games. We almost lost the College of Charleston and South Alabama, and those were our 2 first games. And I think we were down at halftime going into both of those games. So, I mean, there was really no pressure on us. We were 500 in the Pac-10 that year. We were hoping to get in, and we ended up getting a 4 seed, and there was really no pressure on us. No one really expected us to do any damage. We were supposed to lose after every round going into that year. So, I mean, there's really no pressure on us. We just came in and played.
Mike, there's obviously a lot of really good players that have come out of Arizona that played there. Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of all Arizona Wildcats?
Sean Elliott. Maybe Sean Elliott.
I have to go with
Well, Sean Elliott, Gilbert
Khalid
Arenas. Oh,
Oh.
Khalid Reeves. I have to go with me at the 2. 3, I put Sean Elliott. Derek Williams at the 4. And I have to go DeAndre Ayton at the 5.
by the way, when Derek Williams was coming out,
Just position wise.
I thought Derek Williams was going to be the best player in the NBA when he was coming out of Arizona. Wait, what is it, a game against Duke where he just absolutely torched them?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And that's why I put him up there. You got to put him up in the top 5 to ever do it at Arizona.
Bib, you were the number 2 overall pick coming out of college. After your sophomore year, you went to the Vancouver Grizzlies, but it seemed like you didn't really want to be there. Why was that?
I wouldn't say I wanted to be there. I was blessed to be drafted. It was just, I was 19 years old. I just turned 20. Have a son already with a baby on the way. Just leaving the country I didn't think was in the cards for me. I wasn't ready yet. I don't think I was mature enough to, have my whole family in a different country and move like that. It had nothing to do with the city. It had nothing to do with the team. It was just, I figured like I want to start low to where I could bring a lot of family close to me, have a lot of family around me at the same time. And out of the country, I didn't think it would have been good for me.
I figured you knew they were going to move to Memphis, and you said, hell
Here
no.
we go.
Hell no. I don't want to go there either.
Really? You had to get
No,
one?
but I
I had to throw my jab in.
It was good because rest in peace, Michael Hosley, the owner at the time, knew that they were going to, start redoing their team. And, he came to me and was like, hey, Mike, I have respect for you. And, give me we're going to probably trade you. So give us some destinations you would like to go. And I gave him a few. He said, okay, give me your top 5. I gave him my top 5. And then he said, what's your number 1 destination that you would like to play in? And I told him Sacramento. And, by a couple months later, he ended up making it happen. Don't ask me how, but it happened. Turned out great for me.
That's not usually how that gets to go. And you did play 7 seasons there in Sacramento, and then you had the 7-game battle with the Lakers in the 2002 Western Conference Finals. Share a story from that run, because that's one of those ones everyone remembers.
It was just, at that time, I knew we were the best team in the league. I mean, record-wise, we kind of, crapped the bed in Game 7, but I don't even think it shouldn't have got to Game 7. But, it just shows how much of a better team we were. We didn't play our greatest. We ended up taking two of the top 5 players that probably ever played a game in the overtime. We shoot 2 for 13 from 3-pointers and under 50% from the free throw line, and I'm taking them to overtime. So, I knew that we were the best team in the league at that time, and if we would have got through that, we would have won the championship.
Bib, I got to ask, was it rigged in 2002?
Whoa.
Damn, Sean's got some heaters today.
Questions.
Everybody has eyes. Everybody got to see what it was, But, they shot a lot of free throws in the fourth quarter. And, I remember our ball boy telling us, we were getting the champagne ready. Champagne was ready for us after that game, after Game 6. And they had to end up putting all that stuff away. But, I knew we were a better team than that Laker team at that time, yes.
I know this next question, you could ask it of so many people and they'd have a different answer, but would you say your Kings team is the best team to never win a title?
Of course. I think, even you could put us up there with, I think, even some of the teams that maybe won. We were just so good all the way around. Just the way basketball is supposed to be played, there was no egos. Everybody knew Chris Webber was the alpha male on the team. And what stood out to me going to Sacramento is that Chris Webber never had a problem holding his hand up and saying, my fault. I messed up. And that wore off on everybody, and everybody was held accountable for the things that they did.
Mike, I always heard these rumors, and when I played overseas during the lockout, my coach, this Turkish dude, he would literally smoke cigarettes at halftime. Did Vlade actually used to rip cigs during halftime of games, or that's all gas?
I saw Vlade smoke a cigarette one time before a game. It was the playoffs against Dallas. And, I always run into the bathroom before before you do the national anthem and stuff like that. And, I came in and, Vlade's, but he's 4 feet over the stall. So I see his head and I just see him smoking this. He's getting it down till he finished the whole cigarette in probably like 20 seconds. So, just to see him do that, I was like, damn, Vlade, you're smoking a cigarette. And he just, he puffed away through that thing. He just went out like nothing happened.
That is class. Did he have like the hot shower running to try and blend it?
No, he was in the toilet stall, just standing there like he was just outside.
That's
I was just like,
He's hiding, but he's above the stall.
I like it.
That's incredible.
It was a good time, though. It was a good time with everybody. Like Vlade's, probably one of the best teammates I ever had as far as he was the same Vlade no matter what kind of game he played. And he would keep everybody together. We'd get on the plane, would gamble. And, he was just the kind of the leader of keeping everybody together.
So, Bib, you played against Kobe, obviously in the NBA, but also in the McDonald's All-American game. You guys played with each other. What was Kobe like? Any good Kobe stories for us?
It was just good to see him like up close and personal. Back then, there was no social media. You didn't really get to see anything. There was magazines that came out then, so you got to gauge yourself against what these guys put out, and just to see his name up there and stuff like that is just. To see him in person, it was just like seeing him in the NBA. Like you didn't know if it was real or not. You get to the game, he carried himself, just like Michael Jordan. He walked like him, he talked like him, he moved like him. It was just a great, I think, to play with probably one of the top 3 players to ever play the game.
It's a dope pick.
Yeah, that's a cool picture you got up there.
A long time ago.
All right, you're on the Atlanta Hawks, 7-game series, first round of the playoffs, 2008 champion Celtics team, and y'all pushed them to that 7. Do you remember anything sticking out from that one?
It was just going to Atlanta, I had to play a different role, and going to Atlanta, I kind of took the Vlade Divac role going to Atlanta. I think myself and Joe Johnson were the only 2 guys on the roster at that time that been in the playoffs. And so, I went to Boston. I tried to take some of the pressure off the guys and talk a little bit trash again about the fans out there saying, last year I seen a lot of you guys with bags on your heads, and now the stands are full. So they booed me every time I touched the ball. They booed me every time I said their name. But I think it kind of took some of the pressure off of those guys going in and figuring out, like, let's go play.
And then, Mike, towards the end of your career, you signed with the Miami Heat. They made the run. Obviously, they lost to the Mavs. But what was it like with that experience playing with, that big 3 of, Braun, D-Wade, and Bosh?
It was different. I had to play another role in that aspect, too. I wasn't really used to just going in the corner and really standing and hoping the ball comes to me. I never really played like that. And it was just a whole different situation, different scenario for me. It was great to have the experience of playing with 3 Hall of Famers at one time, but it just wasn't the right spot for me to be in.
You also, your last season with the Knicks, Bib, you played with the Knicks. You got to see Linsanity up close and personal, including that 38-point game against Kobe and the Lakers. What was that time like, Linsanity like, and also specifically that game? It
was like, I always tell this story, it's like angels in the outfield. It's like they were roughing him up, and I felt bad for him because they were hitting him pretty hard. And just some of the way the shots hit the rim and would go in, and the stuff that I was seeing, it's like almost unbelievable watching it. And it was just like I always tell everybody, it's like angels in the outfield. Like, he grew out there, he had nothing to lose. He put his heart on the line, but he turned New York into a Jeremy Lin place. I remember going into the mall, and the only jersey they had in there was Jeremy Lin's. They took down Carmelo Anthony. They took down Stoudemire. They took down Chandler's. His was the only jersey in the mall.
That's amazing. It's crazy to think back to that time. All right, you're a part of the Kings broadcast team. Domantas Sabonis has a double-double in 53 straight games. And I know being part of the local broadcast brings with it sort of a different kind of energy. He didn't make the All-Star team. How do you guys handle that from game to game when you talk about it?
I mean, I think he got the rough end, the short end of the stick. But, I mean, it's crazy that he's going to not make the All-Star team and have a chance to make an All-NBA team. I mean, you look at it in that aspect, and it's crazy to look at. Like, I said the record, he's going to beat Kevin Love's record probably like 2 months ago. I mean, he gets these doubles by halftime. And, I mean, he's hard to stop. He kind of brings back kind of like the way we used to play. The offense is run through him mostly. And, I mean, he makes it easier for the guys on his team.
All right, Kings MVP, is it Fox or Sabonis?
I mean, I think the team moves the way if Fox plays, but I think you have to give the MVP to Sabonis just by the numbers that he's putting up and the stuff that he's doing that probably won't be seen again for a long time. But I think the team runs off of the way Fox plays.
My last question for you is a couple weeks ago as well on the Kings broadcast. You got a little fired up about the let's go Heat chants going on in the Kings arena. Besides the obvious, what really got you pissed off that?
I mean, it's just, from being in there when I play, I know it's been a while since they made the playoffs. And, I mean, like, I'm not just saying this to say this, but I think the Sacramento has the best fans in the NBA. And I could have a story for that is that I was with the Vancouver Grizzlies. Chandler, when you go to these other places, they come out to see good teams. They're not going to come see us when we're in Vancouver. We're winning 20 games out of 82. You know what I mean? So they're not going to come see that. I remember our last game of the season. We're counting down games. It's our last game of the season. We go into Sacramento. I remember going to warm up, and, I mean, the place is full. And I was like, I couldn't believe that there was that many people there that watched them play us, and that's what kind of turned me over. It's like, I want to play here. This is a place I want to play to where they come play every night, and I mean they come watch you every night, and they're behind you. They have your back. That was one of the biggest reasons that made me mad that there was that many cheers and stuff for the Heat.
I hate it.
And the Lakers, actually.
Yeah, and the Lakers.
It is so. Like, you're a Laker fan in, like, Vancouver. Like, come on. Like, it is obnoxious.
No.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not. Spurs games are always tons of Lakers fans, and it pisses me off. I'm with you, Mike. I know we've kept you from your workout too long. I would hate to think a muscle deflated while we were out here doing this interview. So get back out there. We appreciate the time so much.
Thank you for having me, guys. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
You can get on that. We'll run it back when we return.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
Around the league we go. Clippers, look at this. James Harden. They lost to the Sixers. It was James Harden's first game against his former team since that trade. 12 points, 14 assists, but he left the locker room before media availability after this one. Chandler, your reaction to him not talking to media?
I don't know why guys continue to do this. It's such a bad look. It's no story. If you just talk, you own up to it and say, you had an off night or whatever, you wish you would have played better. I wish he'd be more aggressive. I mean, taking 13 shots, 12 points, I wish he would kind of have these games and these flashes where he goes back to that kind of Houston James Harden, but this is just never a good idea. It's never smart. It pisses the media off. And now if it's an individual thing you got with a reporter, he's just gonna ask you again next game. You're not gonna be able to duck him forever. So I wish guys would stop doing this because it just creates such a negative buzz, and it's never gonna help your case.
Shams is just standing there trying to ask an innocent question and totally not going to get to James Harden. But here's the thing, though. It wasn't all bad mood because he also was putting Tyrese Maxey in a headlock at one point. So clearly it was the game itself. He's not mad he's playing them.
Yeah. It seemed like they were having some fun. Former teammates. They both really, I think, like each other. But this is not two interesting in-game moments from James in the last week.
And by the way, and here's this is crazy. The things
block with Kawhi,
but like, as much as the drama is when you get traded or asked for a trade, you still have those personal relationships where you're hanging with these guys in the summer and they're your friends. So the media does kind of spin it sometimes where it's all so dramatic and negative, but clearly he still has a good enough relationship with Maxey to
do that.
to him.
To do that thing. Yeah, you're right. When you ask for a trade, it's not like you hate everybody.
No, you never hate. It's
organization.
never usually the players, the guys that you share that locker room with. It's with the coaching staff or the front office or the ownership. It's not like he had beef with Tyrese Maxey.
That'd be crazy if it was all that big. All right, so Clippers. I mean, we had such big expectations, but right now, they've lost 5 of 8, and they have not beaten a team with a winning record since March 3rd. I know we thought they were going to make this run here towards the end, but at this point, what are you thinking?
Well, it's concerning. First of all, they need to be healthy. They need to have all 3 of those guys completely healthy, and they need to be able to lock in on the same page. And it is hard because this is when teams usually go one of 2 ways. This is when you come together and you really peak and you catch fire and you kind of go into the postseason, clicking on all cylinders, and they're just not doing that. They're not defending as well as they are. They're big. Their main 3 guys are having these, real inefficient nights. So this is kind of concerning because you see these other teams. The Thunder still winning games. The Timberwolves, the Nuggets look like the team to beat in the West, and it's almost like the Clippers were in that kind of section with them, and now they've kind of taken that step back. So they still have time to figure it out, but not that much time. I mean, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here.
I mean, we haven't seen Russell Westbrook now in what, 3 weeks, Shams? What can we expect?
Yeah, he had the hand surgery for a fracture in that hand, and I'm told the hope is that he's going to be back this week. Could be tonight against the Pacers. So we'll see if Russell Westbrook will be back tonight, but he's close. He's going to be back at some point this week.
Yeah, we missed.
And that'll help because he brings the energy, brings the defense, he brings the intensity to this team that they need. You see, they kind of tiptoe into games a lot of times. They kind of a little last days go Westbrook. He has 1 speed.
The other team, we've talked about 3 of the 4. Actually, we've talked about all now that we have Sacramento, but Lakers are doing things. Anthony Davis leading his team past Pacers 150 to 145. I'm sorry, I watched college basketball all weekend. These scores are insane.
It's a crazy score.
The combo of Dinwiddie, Reeves, and LeBron had all over 25 points. Right now, this team is a season high 7 games above 500. After this one, though, Rick Carlisle pointed out that the Lakers had 27 more free throws and a differential of 17 foul calls in their favor. This is happening a bit more, it seems, this season, but what do you think when you see that?
It's a lot, and the discrepancy is huge there, but I'm sure there's been games where the Pacers have had that kind of gap, and so you don't hear him complaining when it's in his favor. But the Lakers are peaking. I've been waiting for a Spencer Dinwiddie game like this. This is why they got him. This is why this is a huge pickup for them to go and have that 8 for 11 game, 26 points. This is what we need to see more of. It can't just be LeBron, AD, sprinkled in with some D'Lo and Reeves. This is why they got Spencer Dinwiddie to go and to provide this offense and another option for them on that end. But the Lakers look good. And then a couple weeks ago, we were talking Lakers, Warriors, who's going to get in. And now it looks like, they have a chance to even, kind of go up even further. So this is what I'm talking about, where they're the opposite of the Clippers right now. They're kind of meshing and playing really good right now while other teams are kind of dwindling away.
I was at that game last night.
Of course.
Why wouldn't you be? I have a few thoughts. One, Anthony Davis defensively, he's everywhere on the floor, blocking shots, defending the paint. Very impressed by the way he played last night and has been playing. He's just dominant. LeBron James, obviously, we know what he's doing at his age. It's crazy, 39 years old, 21st season. But Spencer Dinwiddie coming in, playing the way he did, starting. D'Angelo Russell was sick, got scratched right before the game. Spencer Dinwiddie comes and starts, and that's the type of play that they need from him. Quick decisions. I think he brings a different element to this team than D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves because he can shoot, he can make quick decisions, he can pass, he can play make, makes the right decisions. And I saw him run more pick and rolls in LA last night than I did all year in Brooklyn. And that's something I did some digging on. He was essentially told in Brooklyn, no pick and rolls, no isolations. And now he's able to play a lot more pick and rolls.
It's what he does pretty good.
Running more pick and rolls with AD in that lineup. So the way he's played, I think, has given this team a big boost.
And Anthony Davis, 15 of 21 from the field, 36 and 16. They are going to win a lot of games if we.
He was the best player on the floor last night, and it wasn't even close. I've been to a few Lakers games last week or so, and he's had stretches where he's the best player on the court, and it's not even close.
Yeah, they're getting real hot at the perfect time. If you're a Lakers fan, they're 9th right now. They have 11 games left, and they're 3 back of the 6th spot. Is that enough? time? Or
I don't think so. Their schedule, looking ahead, is light. They got the Grizzlies twice. They got the Nets, the Raptors, the Wizards, the Cavs that are banged up. So they do have a lot of winnable games. I'm not sure what the Kings and Mavs are looking at, but I mean, they're obviously comfortable in getting in that play-in, but that's probably about as far as I can see them get to. Obviously, they want to continue to get up there. They don't want to have this one game for all the marbles.
True.
But their schedule is light, and they are playing really good, and they're fully healthy. So it's
rigged?
yeah, it's
totally rigged.
seems to be working like it usually does for the
Perfect.
Los Angeles Lakers.
Perfect timing for them. All right, moving on to Sham Scoops. Officially, that is now happening with the music. Brandon Ingram, injured on Thursday. This is not good news.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, though. He hyperextended that knee. He's out at least 2 weeks. He's got a bone bruise in that knee, but they're already 2-0 without him in the lineup. So they're playing. They beat Miami and they beat Detroit. So Detroit, obviously, you know, that's an easy.
Just brutal time because
matchup.
they're a half game behind the Clippers, who are struggling. So this is but again, they are 2-0 without him. But this.
And Zion, we've seen step up statistically.
Yes.
He's their leading scorer now, but Ingram's been like the model of consistency for this team for years now. And this year, 21 points a game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Like, obviously, getting him back healthy before the playoffs gives them any chance that they would have.
And
in
that
the
you
playoffs.
said that is happening before the playoffs, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be out about 2 weeks, maybe
2 weeks.
3.
Okay.
So the hope is, as April starts to get going, he'll be back in the lineup.
This is a team that's crazy. We don't really talk about.
At all.
Haven't really talked about unless it's like Zion's weight. So like,
Yeah, which is rude.
it's crazy. But them against the Clippers right now in a series 4-5 would be a
I'd watch
really,
it.
really good series.
That'll be
I'd
competitive.
watch that one. Okay, you reported over the weekend that the NBA is shutting down the G League Ignite team. Why?
The G League Ignites produced a few players. Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Scoot Henderson last year goes number 3 overall. The NBA decided to shut it down. They're canceling the G League Ignite. It launched in 2020. I think, Chandler, I'm sure you can speak more to it, but NIL really changed the game. Once colleges allowed players to start getting paid to play and start making money off the court in their name, image, and likeness, that changed everything. It made literally this G League Ignite concept, which in 2020 was the first of its kind. They gave Jalen Green a $500,000 contract in 2020 to play that season for them and not go to an Auburn or whoever he was looking at. But now with NIL, these guys are making that amount already off the court. It made the Ignite obsolete.
Wow. The first casualty.
I mean, I get it, but like again, I love college basketball. Like I love University of Florida. Like I think the March Madness, I think this tournament is so cool and so much fun. But this team has produced so many good players, so many good prospects. It's in LA. It's a great city to live in. So like, it is a little interesting, I think, because
10 picks and 4 top 10
they've
picks.
had so much success doing this with this system.
Who wants to? Well, I don't want to say it like that, but
What?
if I had the opportunity
To go be a pro
this
now
is
and
the
just-
slacker in me, or go to class ever.
But
I don't want
it's
to.
a good point though. Like I can just go and train and lift and do that.
Yeah.
I'd look like Mike Bibby if I was on the G League Ignite. Instead, I got to go to goddamn communications class at Florida. It's
Did you?
weird. It's weird. I went to a couple in 4 years.
Okay, that's good.
You went to 2 classes in 4 years?
Dean's List, all SEC academic honor roll.
I bet that list is great.
Who's doing the statute of limitations still going on or what?
I
Who's submitting those essays, Chandler?
never got his name. Her name.
Or her.
Yeah.
That's fair. You know what? I'm just glad you made it, buddy.
Yeah.
That man has a family. Trey Murphy III.
Huh. That 2 feet, 2 hands, Shams?
That's nasty.
Can you touch rim?
Ooh.
Shams?
Yeah,
Can you get rim?
I did in my heyday, you know, when I was
In
a
your heyday?
freshman in high school, sophomore in high school.
What?
You peaked freshman year?
I know. What do you mean? Well, you're like
Athletically.
Yeah.
30 now.
Athletically.
What's wrong with you? Banton on George.
Delano
That's
Banton.
nice, too.
That's
Bro.
not bad. The victim is pretty.
Cool. You probably love Paul George too. Growing
Exactly.
Up. Dunking on your hero.
I would think dunking on Paul George as a young person would be quite fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is just rude.
Drew Eubanks is good for
Drew
like
Banks.
1 a week, though.
I'm telling you,
I
I
call him
watched.
Drew Banks.
This is a Dunleavy product. I watched this kid in his pre-draft and workout in the summer. He is so bouncy. I'm surprised he doesn't have more highlights like this.
Wow, that's
Oh, he yelled after that one.
Yeah,
he was
he
feeling
has
the
that.
flex
bunnies.
and
He was feeling that.
Bruno Fernando.
Oh, this was nasty, and you just know it's on Grant Williams, so the whole bench loves it even more than if it was.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
that
mean.
is.
This was
I
what
missed
this is
that.
called getting punched on.
That's
I
harsh.
missed this one.
This is assault, brother.
There's some energy in this one. He felt that one.
No Fernandez.
And the scream after. Mike Conley. What?
Wow, I thought he was gonna dunk on someone.
I was too. I was like, that
Yeah,
can't
I know.
be right.
I'm like,
On
what?
Well, Pajemski's down.
Oh, no.
Man
He
down.
tripped. Illegal screen, Gobert. Go the
No,
other way.
Gobert
Rudy
cheated.
didn't even
He
touch him.
No, he
Yeah.
cheated.
Rudy didn't
Bears
even
cheater.
touch him.
Classic Rudy. Just right there being
By the way, we
annoying.
didn't talk. This was the first game since the headlock,
Yeah.
too. And no action, nothing.
Peace. All peace.
Soft.
Giannis, not one, but two.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Pascal
Man.
Siakam had a crazy dunk
did.
last night over 2
2-on-1.
guys.
Are you
Well,
teasing?
don't worry about that.
Are we getting there? Is that
It's
nice
almost
little
like
I don't know. I just saw it last night. I thought of this.
It was.
Dude, I think I spoke too soon on the Bucks. Maybe they're better.
Oh, that's a nice block.
On Paul George again? What is going on?
Nice play by Kawhi, though.
Yeah, Paul George. He has a family as well.
Paul George has a family.
And now looky
Go.
here,
There you
Sav.
go.
Look, I can tell the future. I can tell the
You
future.
rarely see someone try to take a charge and try to block it all in one
That's
play.
pretty impressive.
And neither of them
That's just
worked.
tumbling
That's
bodies.
I saw this live. I'm like,
Oh.
did he really
Was
do
it
that?
an and one too?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's
Should've been.
at least.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
it was. It was an and
I
one.
like the bench's reaction.
I do too.
Just rubs it like this is they rub their nose in it.
Yeah, just like when
See, but I love the way AD was literally going for every block
was
last
trying.
night. I loved it.
he's in
And
it.
by the way, bigs are supposed to get dunked on. That's
There it is.
That's the risk you're willing to take when you try and block shots at the rim.
AD is so good, he doesn't even
athletic
care.
guys in the
pay.
world.
Price you pay for being a giant. All right,
Yeah.
taking a quick break. When we come back, more Run It Back. This bracket season, FanDuel's putting the ball in your court right now. New customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads and money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. So whether you're betting on an upset or a one seed, FanDuel is your place to get in on tourney action. Just download the app, bet on college hoops until they cut down those nets. All right, so Friday night against the Pacers, Chris Paul ejected after 2 techs. Final one had 6 seconds left in this one, and so here he is on referee Tony Brothers.
Oh man, old Tony. He's talking to me, I talk back. I called him a TikToker, and I got a tech.
That was the last one?
No, the first one. I just said TikToker, gave me a tech.
Was there?
Second one, I just said that's too much power. You know what I mean? He gave me another tech.
TikToker meaning?
He the judge, the jury, and all that.
Okay, so TikToker's the new word. He shared a TikTok on his Instagram
That's funny.
after the game.
I don't even really care too much for basketball. I'm the judge, the jury, prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, everybody.
That's the first time I saw that.
What do I do with it? I don't, what?
It's funny because Tony Brothers, he's hilarious, but he does poke and he does pick and he'll talk shit back to you. So it is interesting when you engage with him and then there's 6 seconds left and he knows he's being a dick. He could have just let the clock ran out, but he wanted to stick Chris Paul with that ejection, the second tech, and get him fined. And I think he enjoyed doing that, or else he would have just let it go for 6 seconds and not have tossed him.
Is TikToker a good new insult? Am I doing this?
I don't know. I might.
Influencer? I feel like that's an insult.
I might use it one.
But was that just a Tony Brothers interview, or did he actually have a TikTok that he
No, I
posted?
think that was an interview. I don't. It's,
Yeah,
on
I'm sure
TikTok.
TikTok made a thing out of
Posted.
it.
Yeah, interesting. But I think Tony Brothers is hilarious.
I think he's hilarious too. And look, just like other people, maybe he just doesn't like Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So he's going to tee him up for far less than others. That's going to do it for us. I believe Lou will be with us tomorrow.
I believe.
I'm
We'll be
50-50.
back. Yeah.
I'm a game time decision.
No, you're
Back
not.
spasms.
I do have back spasm.
Run it up, run it back, run it up.